All right, everything is live.
Thanks, Cliff. Hi, my name is Jerry Barberio. I'm the village manager for the Village of Mamaroneck. This evening, we have our third Police Reform and Reinvention Committee Public Forum. Some of you who are repeat visitors may know that each attendee is allotted 3 minutes of time to speak. If you wish to remain anonymous, you can edit your display name with the set of initials, which I've already seen some people do. If you're calling on a cell phone, I will call out the last 4 digits of your phone number. If you're calling in, however, you need to press *9 to raise your hand. We wouldn't know that you wanted to speak until you raise your hand. And then *6 to mute or unmute yourself. This way you can speak. If you don't want to speak, but you still want to submit a comment, you can visit our website and there's a form available for you to fill out and you can provide a comment. You can also email me, jbarberio @vomny.org, and I will convert your email to an anonymous, whatever you say in the email, I will submit to the Police Reform and Reinvention Committee anonymously, taking out all identifiers. So let me pull up the.
All right, Jerry, I just want to say, my name is Tom Murphy. I'm the mayor of the Village of Mamaroneck. And before we begin, I'd just like to thank all the panelists on here for coming out tonight and taking this time out of your life. I just want to say that before we begin, the members of this committee, they come from all walks of life of the village and they represent different viewpoints and worldviews, but they've all worked really hard and long and deserve a lot of praise for their efforts. This is not an easy task. It requires a lot of difficult conversations, and I think those difficult conversations have to be had to give us healing, both as a nation and as a community. And I applaud them all for everything they do. What we're not going to do tonight is allow ad hominem attacks on members of this committee. They have worked too long and too hard, and they don't deserve that. So if you have any ad hominem attacks, you could direct them at me. That's why I get the big bucks. If you have any criticism of the way this has all been handled, please direct it at me, because the members of this committee who have volunteered for this difficult job do not deserve that. And we're not going to let that happen tonight. So please direct your comments to ideas, suggestions, questions you might have about the police department and how we might better improve and handle relations with the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So if you want to raise your hand, if you're calling in, you want to raise your hand, you dial *9 to raise your hand, and then you'd have to dial *6 to unmute yourself. As of right now, we have 21 people, attendees, and I don't see any hands raised at all. Not yet. So we will wait for someone to raise their hand if they want to speak or provide a comment. Cliff, you on?
Yep, I'm here.
The feature, we're good with the feature, with the raise hand feature? I don't see anybody raising their hand.
Yep, everything is operating normally.
All right, and just to reiterate, if you are calling in on a phone, you have to hit *9 to raise your hand, and then *6 to mute and unmute yourself. There are directions on the screen, but obviously if you're on your phone and calling in, you can't see the screen. So once again, if you're calling in, *9 to raise your hand, and *6 to mute and unmute yourself. Yeah, and I can't stand a void. So somebody please start talking sooner, or I'm just going to keep talking.
Dead air.
There we go. The threat of me talking inspired somebody.
It sure did. Maria, you have 3 minutes. Please speak.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. I would like to thank the members of the committee for volunteering for this task. I know it seems like a thankless job now, but your efforts are well worth it, and thank you very much. My question is actually directed at the survey. I noticed that there was a question on the survey asking if you would like to be contacted. I'm wondering what your time frame is for contacting any individual who wishes to be contacted, and what your time frame is for finishing up the survey, and will those comments then be made public anonymously public?
The,
So you
Gary,
can,
you want to go? Go ahead. Go ahead.
if you can contact me via email, and I can provide some kind of a timeline regarding when you would be contacted. Truthfully, Maria, I haven't really thought about it because we're not there yet, because this is
Fair enough.
And the survey is confidential and anonymous, and so the members of the committee and the board of trustees will see it. That's it. As of right now.
Wonderful. Thank you. And just for my own personal, this is not something that could be foiled, the answers to these surveys or any information on them.
The result of the survey can be foiled. The individual answers as they would provide identification will not be.
Okay, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel a story coming on.
And I might have heard of it. I might have heard it already. There's just a chance. If anyone that's on that wants to raise their hand and provide a comment, please do so. Okay. So, we do have one. So it's last four digits are 1068. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, sorry. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I had a question. So my son goes to Homix, and yesterday they were sent around the same survey that's online. He's in 6th grade. And I was wondering if there was a more age-appropriate survey, if they're going to post it to all students during their Zoom remote learning.
So as you know, the timeline has been very short for our committee to get together and for the governor's mandate, which now has to be, we have to, the mayor has graciously sent a letter to the governor asking for an extension, but we don't think that we're probably going to get one. So we have to complete this process by April 1. But the committee had spoken about a shorter, more appropriate, age-appropriate survey for the schools. We just were unable, because of our timeline and the timeframes, to do that. But that could be something in the future as a result.
Okay, just, 11-year-olds are very young to be getting a survey like that. And I think a lot of them, were told to answer it during class. And I know for my son, he couldn't read half the words. And I know a lot of kids were just clicking whatever. So just a thought, to put something together that's a little more age appropriate.
Thank you for calling. I appreciate that comment.
Thank you.
So as I started saying, the Police Reform and Reinvention Committee's final meeting will be on January 14 at 5:15 p.m. I do see another hand up with the initials LL. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, good evening. I'm wondering why the Homics got that survey. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm wondering why the Homics got that survey if they're in the town of Mamaroneck. And also, why are we giving that to middle schoolers? The survey was very, very involved for an adult.
Yeah, we provided the superintendents with the survey, and then it was up to them to distribute it. We didn't direct the superintendents on how to distribute it or who to distribute it to.
That is very irresponsible. I mean, even if it's a very difficult survey for high school students, I can't imagine Homic students taking it.
It's also the first I'm learning about it.
Okay, you're going to follow up with that?
I will follow up.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. So the committee's last meeting, scheduled meeting, is January 14. And then after that meeting, as they develop recommendations, the Board of Trustees will start to look at the recommendations provided by the committee on January 25th and potentially discuss the police reform and reinvention plan for the Village of Mamaroneck at one or all of the other meetings in February and in March. Because the deadline is April 1st for the village to get their plan up to Albany. We have 24 on now. No one has their hand raised. Mayor, I'll wait a few minutes, but it doesn't look like we have too many people. Maybe a lot of people have provided their comments by survey.
No, I got time.
Okay. Robert, you have your hand up? Unmute yourself. Go ahead and speak.
Hello.
Go ahead, Robert.
So I have a question. Last meeting, I asked if ID was shown for the proof of address for all members of the committee, and the response I received was, I believe so. I'm still waiting for a definitive answer to the question I posed last meeting.
Okay. Any other comments?
I would like an answer to that one.
I know you would, but I'm not going to answer it now. If you want to email me, I'll provide you an answer, but I'm not giving you an answer on the forum.
And why will it not be made public for the meetings now instead of an email?
Because I haven't even gotten into it. It's a request from you. I have other priorities. And so when I get around to it, just like your request to do another March, I'll get around to it. I'll deal with it.
As you said, this is due in April for the plan. Yep. It's not much time left. I don't understand how much longer we have to wait just to see if the people on our committee actually live in a village. And I would also like to know what you would consider an appropriate length of time to get a definitive answer.
Was that a comment?
No, I would like to know what you consider an appropriate length of time to get a definitive answer, sorry.
Hard to say. If you don't, Robert, if you don't have anything to say about the police reform or anything productive with the committee, I'll just move on to the next person if there is a next.
No, this is in regards to committee, and you have to answer my questions, and this is part of it. So again, you don't know what's going on with that. Okay, so that's great. Okay, can you?
If anyone else would like to make a comment, please raise your hand. Oh, we have KD. Go ahead, KD.
So did you just like cut that guy off from speaking?
I think he was waiting for an answer that I couldn't provide, so we weren't going to get anywhere. Would you like to make a comment?
I know, I just think that's pretty rude. He's a citizen and he has a right to speak.
He did speak. Do you have a comment or something you need to say about the police reform and reinvention?
I just think your whole attitude on this whole meeting is just pretty rude.
If that's your comment, I understand that. All right, Cliff, we have KOD.
COD.
COD, sorry. COD.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My name is Charlie Dushensky. I'm the president of the Village of Mamaroneck PBA. I represent every officer in this department except for the chief. I'd like to thank the volunteer members of the committee. First of all, I'd like to say we are proud to be police officers here. Most of us have grown up here, went to school here, or live in the village. We care about and have a vested interest in having Mamaroneck be the best place it can be. A civilian complaint review board is not needed. Out of the thousands of police interactions each year, there were 2 complaints last year and 2 the year before. There's no need to create a new bureaucratic mechanism for a problem that doesn't really exist. I'm sure you've all heard bad police stories of interactions. I've heard them myself from friends and neighbors who tell me they were stopped by the police, but that they did nothing wrong. When I press for details or explain the law, they almost always recant their story, realizing they were indeed in the wrong and just didn't want to admit it. I'm not saying that as a department, we're perfect all the time, but I will say that our members are good people who want to do the right thing for the community. In my 18 years as an officer here, I've only worked with one officer who I believe was racist, and he was fired 16 years ago. As a union, we have advocated for the chief to deal with problematic officers. Some were disciplined, some were asked to resign. We don't want to work with bad cops either. I'm disturbed by some of Ms. Saul's comments, such as we shouldn't waste a whole lot of time on what officers are doing right, or we're looking for problems. We're not looking for some even-handed approach that says good and bad. And even we're trying to find out what the problems are. Please tell me on what page of the governor's mandate does he direct this committee to find problems? The mandate says no such thing. You're charged to see if the needs of the community are served by its police agency, to evaluate current policies and practices, see page 2, and to establish policies that allow police to effectively and safely perform their duties. Imagine being a police officer with your job hanging in the balance, having to appear before a review board comprised of people holding such predetermined notions and having no knowledge of the law. Discipline currently lies with the chief of police and the civilian board of trustees. This method has been working for 100 years. Officers have been punished, asked to resign, and even fired. We don't need another level of potentially biased bureaucracy. As to the references of police union power, well, that I've been hearing on from some members, I have so much power I couldn't even get on the committee, even though it's recommended on page 110. We're proud members of this department. We express every confidence that Chief DeRuza will do an excellent job of leading this department. If anyone wishes to have more of a discussion, please feel free to reach out and talk to me.
Thank you, Charlie. 7, Robert, you have your hand raised? Go ahead and unmute yourself. 7, Robert. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Robert, are you speaking?
I'm trying to.
Oh, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I was not going to call in.
Can't hear him.
It's very low, Robert.
As the last caller, I would say several things. One,
Oh, hold on, Robert. If you could hold on, please. We have to somehow raise your volume. I can't hear you.
individual, and yet
Robert, you're not being heard.
did not interrupt them.
He doesn't hear us, Tom.
He doesn't hear us not being heard.
Secondly, I would like somebody to explain to me the
Can't hear
situation
him.
in Page Park. I have
Let-
not heard a
Cliff,
reasonable
Cliff,
explanation
cut him off. I'm going to email him to let him know what's going on.
officers.
Okay. TS, you have your hand raised?
Hi, yes. Yes, it's Theodora Saul. Good evening, everybody, and thank everybody for attending and being part of this sometimes painful, but ultimately, I hope, productive process. I actually just had a question for the speaker who called me out by name. And what I wanted to know is that particular speaker, whom I don't know personally, but I know to be an active village police officer, as well as the head of the police benevolence, whatever organization, the police union. I'm curious to know why he made a demand for information from the government, the cost of purchasing and maintaining the cameras, which were set up by the village outside of Van Rant's and Columbus Park, where the Black Lives mural stands still, although it was defaced, and these cameras were set up in the wake of the defacing of the mural to presumably protect the mural from being defaced again. And this man foiled the cost of purchasing and maintaining those cameras, as if to anybody's mind, it would be so exorbitant as not to be worth protecting such a significant and symbolic piece of art that was created to honor African Americans everywhere, and in combination with people of color and people, white people and people from every age and every part of society in our village working together. Why was it interesting to him to know how much the village is paying for those cameras? Thank you.
All right, we're not going to have a dialogue between callers, right? If callers want to have a dialogue off message, they can have a dialogue off message. Jerry?
I have LS, Mayor, on my screen.
Hi, this is Lizette Soto. Thank you, Mayor Tom Murphy, for this and the committee as well. And I wasn't going to originally call in, but I feel after that last caller from, it was a little disturbing to hear him say certain things. And I would like to share my story with the village, even though it's painful. So here goes. So in the spirit of transparency, I have worked as an assistant director and finally as an executive director in two of our village's largest not-for-profits, assisting residents during a time when our village was found responsible for previous human rights violations against some of its own residents by a court of law. But I speak today as a Mamaroneck resident, Mamaroneck Village resident of 30 years, and a Mamaroneck High School graduate, in the hopes that sharing my very personal and painful experiences with our police will bring about change and that no other resident will ever have to experience what I have ever again. 4 years ago, I called our police to report my fiance as a missing person suffering from a psychotic breakdown. Once police arrived in my home, I was repeatedly told that my fiance had most likely decided to move out without telling me, despite my insistence that he was off his medication and that he had left all his personal belongings behind. While I cried and pleaded with them to please place an APB as soon as possible, an officer interrupted me to ask me if I remembered him from Mamaroneck High School, because he certainly remembered me. A detective arrived and continuously yelled at me to calm down and to find him a phone charger, or he wouldn't be able to call or text my fiance in time if I didn't, and to call my bank immediately to check, and I quote, if he hadn't cleaned out my bank account yet. They left, and I was told by the detective that he would place an Amber Alert once he got back to the station and that he would call as soon as he was able to ping my fiance's last location. 2 hours later, still without a word, I texted the detective to please call my fiance's psychiatrist for a possible location. I never received a call or text back from this detective again. Minutes after sending that text, the Port Authority arrived to inform me that my fiance had been found dead. I called the detective some days after to ask why he never contacted me. He was rude and defensive and stated that he had pinged my fiance's location, but that by then he figured the Port Authority would take over and that there was no need for him to do anything further. I asked him to please check if my fiance had been captured on video, on any video anywhere before leaving the village. I was told that would not be possible, and he ended our call. I asked this committee to look over that report. More recently, last Labor Day weekend, 2 officers came to our home with what I was told was a report of a noise disturbance in our home called in by a racist neighbor. Both officers did not wear masks. Despite there being only myself and one older neighbor and no music, I was told it was a problem. I was asked who owned our home, and I was then requested to hand over my license nonetheless. My white neighbor was not requested to do so. When I questioned why I needed to do so, I was told if I didn't, they would write up a ticket.
Right.
After I provided my license, I was asked.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you. Cliff, I see a Robert hand up. I suspect it's the same individual as before.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Why was I cut off before?
Because you were just asking questions. Cliff.
I'm asking questions in regards to.
So Robert, if you just email me, it'd be a lot better. If you're dialing in, to raise your hand, *9, and to unmute yourself is *6. If anyone who hasn't spoken has a comment, please raise your hand. Cliff, unmute LS so she may finish her statement. Hi, I'm sorry, it cuts you off at 3 minutes, but if you wanted to finish quickly, I'd let you finish if you could.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. I just was going to end that particular instance with, I asked the committee to look into that report and as well as to compare it to the FOIL report it generated. But in closing, I would just want to say, I asked this committee to have the courage to demand that our police treat everyone with dignity, respect, and without racism clouding their sworn duty to protect and serve all of us equally in this village. To be kind and courteous no matter who they are called to help during traumatic events in life. To remember that whenever they are called to a scene, people there are in their care, both physically as well as mentally. And finally, as a village and as a country, we must acknowledge racism if we're to move forward in this and all endeavors. And I thank everyone tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you.
If anyone else who hasn't spoken wants to raise their hand, please do so. Okay, it's 7:33, I think, 7:33. So thank you to everyone who's on the call, who may have participated in the survey, the online survey. I know we received quite a few. And as I said, the final committee meeting will be on January 14th. And then the Board of Trustees will take this, their recommendations and assume the responsibility of creating a plan for the village of Mamaroneck to be submitted to the state of New York.
Okay.
All right, I want to try, Mayor, I want to try.
Robert Stark again.
Yeah, I want to try Robert again one more time. I did email him to try to get his volume adjusted. Robert, unmute yourself and let's see if we can hear you because you were very, very low.
Robert, can you speak?
Can you hear me?
If you speak a little louder, we can.
I called in response to Mr. Dushansky. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Try speak to the back of the room.
Okay. The mayor said that he did not want people to address individuals, especially members of the committee, yet he did. I don't know why the mayor did not stop him from talking about a committee member, number one. Number two, the incident at Papes Park. If that is not a problem, I don't know what is. I have not heard a reasonable explanation for why there were 14 police officers and 3 dogs at that location for a long period of time. Why they decided to go through cars on that street to look for contraband or fireworks or drugs, I don't know. But I would like eventually to get an explanation for that incident that happened 2 years ago, and there still hasn't been a satisfactory explanation. And I still encourage everybody to look at the 2 videos where Mr. Winchester appeared before the Board of Trustees and received a very inadequate response to his questions about that incident. Did you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes?
Yes, I can hear you, Robert.
Good. I just want to make sure my message was heard. I'm
Yes.
done. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Thanks for trying, keep trying all the time.
Jerry, I just want to remind folks that they have until Monday to fill out the survey.
Thank you, Mayor.
We extended the survey an extra week. It was originally supposed to expire on January 4th, but is now going to be extended to Monday, January 11th. So if you know people who want to fill it out or who haven't filled it out, please encourage them to fill it out.
Thank you. I appreciate reminding me because that's something that I should have had written down. Okay, if you haven't spoken and you want to speak again, if you haven't spoken and you want to speak, please raise your hand. If you have spoken, I will not unmute you if you've already spoken and provided comments. I don't see any new commenters or people who want to comment. And we have 9 committee members. I appreciate spending more time on this initiative. We work really hard. We've met, which seems like twice a week now. I know the subcommittees have met even more, and they are spending a lot of time to make sure that they do as much as they can before they provide the recommendations to the Village of Mamaroneck. So Mayor, it's 7:40. I'm going to end it.
Your call.
Yeah, doesn't seem like there's any new individuals who would like to comment and provide comment. I do want to make one last pitch for the survey. You can go to the village website and find the survey. We have the survey in English and in Spanish. We also have the survey distributed throughout the community, as well as paper copies to be picked up here at Village Hall or at I think over 65 business establishments accepted the paper copies. And then I believe they are available at the CRC on Center Avenue as well. And that's also a drop-off point. So we have a mailbox out front at 123 Mamaroneck Avenue. After you fill out your paper survey, if you're interested in filling out the paper survey instead of the online survey, you can seal it up and drop it off in a, it's a drop box, which looks like a mailbox right out front. And we pick them up 3-4 times a week out of there. Okay, thanks very much. Everyone have a great evening.
Good night.
Good night.